And in fact, often you hear that when it comes to Gen Z millennials, that, we're the entitled generation, and I don't agree with that assessment. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I had 2 points of view on this one. The first one was when I was senior administrator, and most students, the great majority of students I would interact with were student politician, and that entitlement feeling I had it was very strong. Uh, Going back, becoming a faculty member again, and even though I had that feeling, there was something in the back of my head that said, statistically, we know that no generation can be painted with one or two words. Generations are too large a sample of people.
Yeah, that's true.
There's too many things in any type of generation. There are some characteristics, but again, how many times do they apply to people, or how many people like myself would sort of adapt their behavior to what they think they should be doing in their generation, right? But I knew in the back of my head it didn't make sense. Also knew in the back, well, not in the back of my head, I also knew that statistically this is the generation that has, the most educated, the least health problems, the least, teen pregnancy, use of drugs. I mean, it's a very good generation.
And with the internet, access to information.
Access to information.
Yeah.
And I think it's the most compassionate generation we've had.
That is true.
They really care about other people, about minorities, about the environment, about great things. They truly care about this. And when I became, so even though I had this sort of tension because of some of the students I was dealing with, when I became faculty member again, I met, and I still meet, the most incredible young people. But they are extraordinarily anxious about the future. And I really get it. I mean, the pressure they feel from mostly the coming environmental apocalypse is something that weighs them down very, very strongly. And I think it is very difficult for them. But they're young people. They make mistakes like every generation of young people have made mistakes. They're passionate, like, young people are passionate. They see the world mostly, not always, maybe even mostly is probably a bit of an exaggeration, but they tend to see the world in black and white tones because that's what happens when you're that age. It's just cognitive development.
Yeah.
It's not, you gotta, but young people are also the ones that push society, they push the envelope, they force society to think about things differently. The gender question today is something that for people my generation, I'm 56 years old, something for my generation is
it's probably unheard of. Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. Okay.
It does that understanding doesn't come naturally. You have to sit down and say, okay, it makes sense, but we're raised in a world where these things were clearly separated and they were clearly defined and everything was built around it, right? Not only your politics, but your clothing, your
washrooms, public
washrooms,
places.
your cars, the furniture, everything was built around that. Everything, and it was like it felt very normal and natural. So, these pushing the envelope on that point is an important part of realizing what science is now telling us. It's it's a large spectrum, and it's a fluid and moving spectrum of what you believe your gender is. And that's what young people do, right? So through their passion and sometimes through their, way they see the world a bit in black and white, but they also push the envelope. They push us towards, out to look outwardly, which is absolutely important for a society if it doesn't want to fall into inertia and apathy.